Hi everyone, and welcome to the Industrial Potatoes E3 review. My name is Logan, and I will be kind of chit-chatting a little bit on the overall feeling of E3 this year. Now, to start off, I will first off talk about in order of what I watched. I'll be going Xbox, Square Enix, Xbox, Bethesda, Square Enix, Ubisoft, Sony. So I'll talk about the 5 ones. I did not watch Nintendo, but I heard there was a lot of good news. So I'll start off talking about Xbox. Now, as we all know from the Xbox in their past E3s, they've done basically what is consistently the same thing constantly after year after year, where they all have a big platform where each person comes out and talks about their game and gives a little bit of background information. This year was a little bit different. Instead of having just an open platform behind them, they had game. They had an Xbox, they had a bunch of Xboxes set up for previewing it and for, I guess, having people come up and do play on them. I didn't really see much of that footage, but from what I saw, it was overall pretty good. Phil Spencer came out and blew us away by buying 5 new companies and by releasing 50 exclusive games, which is great because Xbox has been kind of getting their ass beat by Sony, as we all know, from all of the exclusive releases Sony has had. But the thing that I'm gonna talk about real quick is the fact that Xbox released a decent amount of games this time. Now I'm just gonna talk about the big parts that came out of it. Overall, I'm gonna continue and talk about the concept of how Xbox did it. The way Xbox did it is they started off kind of slow with their base games coming out and then talking about them, but ended spectacularly. And by that I mean how they portrayed the hacking and how they portrayed everything that happened up until then. The way that it happened was they showed off Cyberpunk 2077, which looks amazing. If anybody had not seen it, I will recommend seeing it. I'll put a link in the description to one of the other YouTube channels that has a trailer out right now. But it's beautiful. But the way they did it was great. I didn't notice anything wrong with it, but I'm going to go on to a communication point of view. I'm a minor at my college, so I'm working on getting a minor which I graduate this fall, relevant information. But the overall concept that I'm going to get at is the fact that over the past few years with Xbox, I've noticed that consistently how each person that comes out and talks will come out, stay in one single place with their hands out. They'll talk with their hands, which is great, because if you're talking with your hands, that's very personal. But they stay put, which is fine and all because they can't really access all of the space that they're trying to access to. The issue is that if you're constantly going to be just standing in one single place, maybe do something different. Maybe move around a little bit, maybe walk. I know it might be too impersonal and the cameras might not be able to follow, and E3 isn't supposed to be this big old representation of how everybody communicates. But there's one issue that I noticed with the Ubisoft conference, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But overall, Xbox did a pretty decent job showcasing everything, their exclusives, the companies they bought, everything. The fact that a bunch of these games are coming out that Xbox needs, and it's just a really big deal. Next, I'm going to jump into Bethesda. Bethesda did they had a stupid start. I'm going to say that honestly. They had a metal band come in and do a show for them. Essentially, that's what they did. Essentially, they came in and had someone do a remake on their song, and they left. Maybe next time I get someone, I guess enthusiasm is real important. I'll get to that with Joseph Gordon-Levitt with the Ubisoft conference. But here's the thing, is when you get someone who's that enthusiastic in a crowd that is just kind of sitting there and they're not standing, they're not doing much, maybe not so much high energy, because they were at a 20, the crowd is, at a 5 at least at the beginning. Rage 2 to be excited for, and you gotta show that enthusiasm to it, and you have to kind of embrace Rage 2, and they kind of did it. But maybe less energy. Now, I did notice throughout it there were just a lot of things happening. The Prey panel that came out, awkward as fuck, if you ask me. It was funny because the guy put a sticky note saying not a mimic on it, and if you guys have played Prey, here's the issue: is that it's funny because that if you know what they're referencing, it's funny. Awkward at the same time because of how they kind of did it all and whatnot. They try to make it kind of funny. I will actually go back and talk about Xbox real quick. They had a Japanese producer, or I wouldn't say Japanese. I really don't know what ethnicity or race he is, but they were subtitling him. They had a interpreter right next to him. I find that great. I find that fantastic. Square Enix. started off with nobody talked at all. It was just boom, 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 game after game. That's all they wanted to do. The introduction had the president come out and, speak to us and say thank you for watching and we appreciate you. Respectful, and I like that. But the fact that Xbox didn't have anybody come out like they did last time in a kimono, which is embarrassing as fuck, is great. The fact they didn't have Minecraft come out is fucking great. I'm tired of seeing Minecraft because there's nothing special about it. There's nothing yes, it's a great game for anybody out there who's an independent person who just wants to fuck around on making their world and a universe for them. But in terms of content, you can't embrace all of that excitement that Minecraft has. It's kind of like how they were when they released the Scorpio last year for E3, and how, oh my god, Minecraft in 4K, it's going to be the same exact shit, nothing's going to change. There's nothing special about it, it's just the same old, same old. So, there's the argument there. Square Enix, kind of boring, but they did it. I won't complain. Bethesda was great. Todd Howard came out and blew the show away with Skyrim 6 and Fallout 76 by giving us a little bit of information, and I love that for him. Thank you very much, Todd Howard. I respect it, and that was amazing. Next, we're going to jump into the Ubisoft panel. Now, this one I had a little bit of a problem with throughout. To start with, their starting was actually pretty good. Every time they've started their show, it started off with a Just Dance preview, or a Just Dance introduction, and that's fine. The way they show their game off, and it's entertaining and fun, and Despacito some shit, and yada yada yada, it's fun. That's what they wanted. It was their Ubisoft community is very excited about shit, and I will respect that. Now, if I remember correctly, the guy who was talking about The Division, or one of their games, had a note in his pocket. And it had like a 6-something panel, I don't know what the hell it was, 6 stages of something or other. And Ubisoft had 2 issues. This is the first issue personal to me. His person, he had a little piece of paper that distracted me the entire fucking time he talked. I'll probably put an image up, but every time he talked, it bothered me because I couldn't stop, I couldn't look at his face. I'd have to look at his shirt, being like, please, whatever that is, I want to see what it is, or at least remove it, because it's distracting. He had everything very organized except for the fucking piece of paper that wasn't in here. Now, the second issue with Ubisoft, and I apologize for this, Ubisoft, because you had the most issues out of anyone. Ubisoft had problems with their audio. You noticed it from the pre-show. Their audio was like, it was a few minutes before everything was supposed to happen, a few seconds, they were doing a show off for Brawlhalla, but the audio was cutting out. And then when they got into the show, when they actually showed people introducing the Ubisoft panel, their audio was off. And then every time you would hear their audio come in, at least when I was watching it on Watch Mixer, or streaming service, it was having problems. Occasionally after the, after the Beyond Good and Evil 2 trailer and presentation and everything, the chick who walked off with the dude literally said, woohoo, we did it. Like, you could hear her audibly be excited for it, which I'm all about. If you succeed at a public speaking event that you're talking in front of millions of people, good, because you shouldn't be nervous. This is a game that you are developing. You should be enthusiastic about it. You shouldn't be nervous for anybody watching. You need to express yourself to them in a very excited and organized fashion, to the point where they are excited as much as you for this game that is coming out in a month or a year or something like that. And that's fine. But Ubisoft, your audio kept being wonky because you could constantly hear your audio director saying, and next, and go, or something along those lines. I'm not going to complain, but next time just be a little bit more attentive on your audio, because it kept fucking up, and it kind of got annoying because you could hear people talking. And they weren't people who were going on stage, they were background people that you don't see, or you're not supposed to hear. Now, it could have been just a problem with Watch Mixer getting their audio from everything else that was going on. I know E3 is a big event, and there's a lot of things that could go wrong, but that's also minor. But that's just it. Like, once again, at least with Ubisoft, they had people move around the stage. At least they had people come in and out, left and right, and come in to introduce a concept and leave, and come in from the left and then leave, and then go back and forth. That's fine. That's what I want. I want people to move that stage. Own it. Because you're not supposed to be embarrassed. You're not supposed to be staying in one exact spot. Move around, talk with your hands. Do everything that you can to embrace what you're showing off to the audience. It's just my perspective. And then finally with Sony, I will give them props. They started off amazing. I didn't realize it at first, but the place they had that they showed off at the E3 conference, the tent and everything, that was set up as a representation of what was going on in the trailer. And I thought that was fucking awesome, because you don't see that. the amount of detail they put into it was absolutely kick-ass. Doing the music in the beginning was kind of a little bit confusing because you didn't know who it was. So that's one of the things that I thought was interesting. And then they cut back to them inside of the stadium, which got a little bit kind of boring after a while because it wasn't anything important. As E3 happened last year with Sony, Sony had, you know, people. They had a quartet or, people playing music behind. And it was just one of those things that was, like, fascinating to hear because it'd just be like someone conducting, and you'd hear it. You'd have actual sound there that wasn't just audio cued. And they didn't have it like they did last time when their president came out and talked about a game after everything. It was just boom game, and they had that silly animated musical going on, which you could occasionally hear laughter or clapping. Granted, that's fine, but it's awkward. It's kind of impersonal for Sony to do after being such a big success this past year, and it just kind of left an empty space in me because I'm not a PlayStation player. You guys know that if you're watching. If you know my channel, if you know my streaming service, I'm not a PC player. I'm not a PlayStation person. But the way PlayStation had it set up this year, they kind of put it to the wayside and didn't care. I will say this: Ubisoft focused a lot on their Division 2 and their Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They focused more on Odyssey than they did than Division 2, but the way they showed it off was a lot more personal than how Sony did. Sony kind of just said, here's our games, enjoy it. They didn't have any personal feeling to it. They didn't say, you're going to explore this, you're going to do this. They just kind of left it up to the game trailers. So that's my overall kind of view. I did watch Nintendo, so that's my overall kind of view on this E3 this year. If I'm going to rate it, I say Xbox got at least an 8 out of 10. For content this time, they came back and did everything they were supposed to with more content for the Xbox users. As a lot of people have been bitching. Bethesda came in hard, about a 10 out of 10 with Fallout 76 and with Elder Scrolls. Square Enix got a 2 out of 10 because they just didn't really give a shit. They had their intro and they had Keith David narrate it all, which I'm a fan of Keith David. Maybe a 4 out of 10 because their games are whatever. Let's see. Ubisoft got at least a 7 out of 10. They did pretty well. A little bit of audio problems kind of brought it down a little bit. And Sony got around a 6 out of 10. Just overall feeling of it. They did better in the past years when they were releasing their games and showing them off with the orchestra there with them, with the president coming out and introducing it every time. That was fun. That showed a lot more personal feeling than just shoving sweat. Well, they kind of did what Square Enix did. You know, Xbox, Ubisoft, Bethesda did the same thing, which is fine. They showed off the game, they had people come out and talk about it. Square Enix, Sony kind of fell short. In my opinion, other people might disagree, but that's just how I see it. I watched only one pre-show that I really didn't pay attention to. But overall, they did a pretty well job. And I'm actually, on a side note there, Ubisoft did a fantastic job not giving a shit about what people think about not having a game trailer. They had a film documentary trailer. I love that. Being a film studies person, I absolutely adore that. I applaud Ubisoft for doing that because not only is that absolutely ass backwards for them to do, they did it in their own case and they said, fuck it, here's our film, enjoy. And I respect that entirely. And I will most likely watch that documentary because it's just there. So, that's just my overall feeling of E3 this year. Lots of good things, lots of bad things, but overall it was a pretty decent E3. Xbox came back solid. Sony kind of put a giant placemat down and said, here's our shit. Ubisoft said, here's our stuff, enjoy it. And then Bethesda blew it away and just said, you were done. It was a great E3 this year. I love it. I love it all. I love it all. If I could ever go to E3, I would. I would go with an entire camera crew. But overall, it was a great E3. If you guys feel the same, be sure to leave a like. If you guys disagree or agree with me, or any comments that you guys think I missed, or anything like that, feel free to comment below. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Indestructible Potatoes, and feel free to go to the Watch Mixer account, INDP Potatoes, and follow us there also. We stream every so often, so hope you guys enjoy, and we'll wait till next year when we do another E3 review. Thanks. Bye.